Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another Real Housewives of Potomac review. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into it. I thought that I wasn't going to like this episode because the first part of it was like, okay. And then I enjoyed the second part of it more. And I don't normally like when they do all these questions and stuff during the show, but I guess because of how well the cast was doing in that moment, I enjoyed that one little part. But y'all tell me what you thought of this episode. So we begin the episode with Mia trying to show us that she should be in the running for Mother of the Year, even though I don't care how many obstacle courses she does with her kids. I did not forget what she did last week and how she continues to traumatize them by her actions and bringing up the divorce the way that she does. Next, Stacy. So Stacy meets up with Giselle and Karen. She said that she was told by Karen that this is going to be like a sisterhood when she enters this group. And she's trying to get past Giselle's outer shell because she thinks that at her core, Giselle is a softie. Giselle's a softie when it comes to her kids. But she feels like Giselle is a softie and she kind of wants to be besties. So they catch up. We find out that her daughter Bella is kicking tail in swimming, that she's winning all types of first place trophies, that she's doing a really, really good job. The subject of TJ comes up. He's currently in LA. He's filming some stuff for his acting, and he will be back in time for Karen's Love Lagoon, where they talk everything love. So Stacy says that at this point, she's not really worried about what TJ's doing when he's in LA, but the ladies are, and they feel like Stacy, after 16 years, shouldn't be jumping into anything serious, that she needs to have more penis. They feel like Stacy doesn't really know him because it's only been a year. And she's like, I know TJ. I know what he's like. I know that he's God-fearing. And she's listing off stuff. And Giselle is laughing at the God-fearing part. For Giselle to be a first lady, she really chuckles at this God-fearing situation. I don't know if it's because she thinks that TJ is full of it or if it's because of her experiences with her husband, who was a pastor, who loved God and was sleeping around with the whole church. So I don't know if that's the situation here. So Karen's like, don't be looking for your connection in the church, because the men in the church, most of them that come there every Sunday, they're in the church looking for a love connection too. And that's why they go on Sundays. I was laughing because I like the lightheartedness about it, and I do know some men at my church that are hoes. So I completely understood what she meant when she was saying what she was saying. So they tell Stacy, like, he's getting some from somewhere. He's not getting it from you. Know that he's getting it from somewhere else. And Giselle's like, TJ is doing TJ. Karen said that man has a whole life in LA. I don't know what to think about TJ. I feel like TJ likes Stacy, but I don't feel like he likes her in the degree that she seems to like him. I don't get the chemistry, even in the end of the episode where he had like his hand on her knee and stuff. It's just not giving romantic vibes to me. But you all tell me what you think. So Wendy invites all of the ladies to a clothing boutique to go shopping. The moment that Ashley came in and Ashley said that she shops there too, I was like, oh no, never mind. Because sometimes Ashley's fashions are questionable, but there were some nice pieces in the store. So Giselle's like, Wendy keeps texting. She's talking about this shopping thing and us going shopping on Thursday, and it's a bit much. And she says that until she finds out why. So the ladies are all there, and Jacqueline. Some of the ladies are like, we haven't seen you in a while. And she's like, yeah, because you haven't invited me to any events. Jacqueline very much so is trying to be a part of this franchise in some way. Even if that only way is through Mia, she wants it. So I think that Jacqueline very much so wants to be invited to things and feels away when she's not. So Wendy says that, a lot of eventful things have happened to this year. She's turned 40 and she just wants to do a liberation celebration in Panama. Everyone seems excited about it with the exception of Kierna. First of all, because Kierna didn't even know where it was. At first, she thought they were going somewhere in Florida. And after she found out that it wasn't in Florida, she was like, she'd rather go to European cities. It's a free trip that you don't have to pay for, that you're getting paid to go to, and that you just get to enjoy a different place. Stop complaining, Kierna. Kierna not doing it for me. I really, really had high hopes for her, but I'm not feeling it. Anyways, so the ladies shop and they discuss, what happens at the Love Lagoon, and we get flashbacks and things like that. And we find out that Mia wants to invite Jacqueline as her plus one. So she's telling Wendy and Ashley this because none of her men can come. Y'all think about the irony of that. Mia has a boyfriend and she has a husband, and neither one of them can come. Mia, what are you doing here? Like, seriously, what are we doing? So she wants to invite Jacqueline and she tells, Ashley and Wendy this. And she's like, I wonder if, Karen will have a problem with it. And Ashley's like, yeah, do it. Anything for stirring up some mess, Ashley's down. Because everybody knows that's not a good idea. So she's like, yeah, do it. I'm all for it. While Wendy's looking at her like she's crazy. She approaches Karen, says, I know you said bring Gordon, but, Gordon can't make it. So here's my thing. Karen, if this is a love event, why would you suggest for Mia to bring Gordon? There's absolutely no reason at this point, since she has a whole boyfriend, for her to bring Gordon. So Mia's like, I wanted to know if Jacqueline could come. And Karen says, absolutely not. She doesn't want her there. She doesn't want that energy in her home. Jacqueline has had a lot to say about her, and she just doesn't want her in her space. And I don't blame her. I'm the same way. I have associates that don't even know what city I live in, let alone have been to my place. Protect your energy and definitely protect your home. So Mia goes to Jacqueline and is like, I tried to have you come, but Karen said that you can't come. And Jacqueline's like, oh, I'm okay with that decision because I didn't want to go anyway. You're a liar because you're trying very much so to be on camera, and you pull what you pulled at the end of the episode, which proves you did want to be there. So we meet up with Kierna. She's at Greg's house. Her brother is there also. They make a cheers to Panama, even though Kierna didn't know she was going there. Greg says, I want you to be safe and no arguing. That's what he's making the cheers to. And as he's talking, I'm like, okay, Greg, you got to get over this because she's on the show and she's getting paid for it. And we've seen what happens when men aren't supportive of the roles that their women play on the show. Example, Robin. Or when they're cutting themselves off from certain filming. It's not a good look, and she's too new to this to be doing this. You can't keep blaming the situation that happened that night on the show and the cameras. It didn't have anything to do with that. Now, it had something to do with the people who were around and them not being able to control themselves. But we're not going to act like because these cameras were around that this is why the situation happened. So she's like, it's a liberation party. We had a lot of things happening for women this year. Wendy turned 40 and Giselle's now going to be an empty nester. And there's 3 divorces. And Greg's like, wait, hold up. Is that because of the show? Sir, please get off my screen with that. Please get off my screen. Greg looks frumpy. Like, my nose ring is driving me crazy. You know that you're on camera. Why do you look like that? Why do you look like that? Earlier, I was recording a video for Married to Medicine, and I looked at myself on the playback, and I was like, girl, you look frumpy. You need to take that Scully off. It was nice when you were outside, but why didn't you record with that? This is the stuff that I'm saying. You're on camera. Why do you look like this? And why are we talking about this? Y'all aren't even married. Why did you get divorced from your ex? Was it because of a camera? No, it's because life happens. And that's what happened in those situations. So Key says that she doesn't like that he's not being supportive of her. He really, really has a problem with her filming, and she just wants his support. Then he starts talking about how, because the brother's like, how's it going with, y'all being together? And he's like, I mean, there's turkey legs and stuff in the fridge. And Karen is like, he keeps on with this expectations of me having a cooked meal all the time. And I just feel like that's not, what it's going to be. I understand making cooked meals, but he can do it as well, because the last time I checked, not only does she have her business, but she's helping him with his. So why is she expected to sit there and slave over a stove? Why can't y'all make out a plan where the both of y'all cook, or where you give her some, movement here? It's just like my son and I. My son is grown, but my son, he don't cook the way his mama cook. Let's be real. I don't cook the way my mama cooks. Now, there are certain things that I cook better than her, but for the most part, 9 times out of 10, she's going to beat me when it comes to cooking. So there are times where I say, as a happy medium, because I'm his mom and I've done this for a long time, pick the 3 meals that you want me to cook this week, and I cook them. Why? Because it allows my son to have a home cooked meal, and for him to sometimes have leftovers, and for me to fulfill my duties as a mom. I feel like the same could be said when it comes to a relationship. If y'all are living in the house together, there should be some compromise on that situation. One of my friends tells me all the time, it's not happy wife, happy life, it's happy spouse, happy house. And that's what it should be. The both of these people should be happy. So she said that he's complaining because he expects, to have a home cooked meal all the time, but there are certain things that he's slacking in as well. Like he's not giving her the intimacy and things like that she requires. I think that this is a discussion that you two people need to have off camera, because when he sees this, he's really not going to like that. So we see Stacy, and she's out with her aunt that she says is more like a sister because they're closer in age. She's the youngest. They go out for dessert. She explains that after everything's happened with her and her husband, that she's finding herself happier being separated from him. So her aunt's like, it's been a year. That's a long time. You should be getting some right now. And she's like, there is somebody that I've been talking to. Her aunt's like, who? She's like, TJ, it's been really good to rely on him. We used to work together. And her aunt's like, oh, the cutie from QVC? Am I supposed to believe, I hope that this was just for the cameras, because am I supposed to believe that these two people are so close that she feels like that she's her sister and not her auntie, and she doesn't know anything about this guy, TJ? This is the first that she's hearing about it. I'm not buying it. Her aunt tells her that she hopes that, TJ is her friend first and then something else. Like that's what good relationships come from sometimes. And she's like, it's so refreshing to hear you say that, because the other ladies are giving me such a hard time about it. She's like, well, I don't, God said to do it. And she tells her, get the divorce and then embark on something else, whatever that something else is. So we see Giselle, and she goes out on her date with Nas. It's a week since the whole speed dating thing. They go to do salsa dancing. She lets him know ahead of time, like, look, I'm not a good dancer, but I'm willing to learn. They toast, he says, to them and to her dimples. Giselle asks him various questions like MJ or LeBron. He picks MJ. He said only because of the bald head. Have you ever been to jail? Have you this? Have you that? Have you that? And he's responding to all of her questions. And then she pauses at him saying that he's never been to jail. Not because she didn't believe him, but because she feels like he's not rough enough around the edges. She likes her little rough man. She says that even Jamal did some jail time. And the producer's like, he did jail? He's like, yeah, for civil rights and stuff like that. He did some time. You may have got arrested. I don't think he did time. I think he got arrested and released on his own recog. That's my guess. So they dance a little, and even though Giselle looks a little stiff, she does say that she had a good time. It's a cute scene. I did enjoy them. On to Karen's thing. So it's time for Love and Laguna. Everything looks great with the expectation of the struggling mermaids. Like, why did she wear that wig? That blonde wig got wet, and I felt like I could see the wig cap. She was all in the water swimming, getting her hair wet. Meanwhile, the other girl was just sitting off on the side, chilling. Like, I get it, girl, but you committing too much to the part. You would have been better off wearing your natural hair out there and getting that wet, because I'm sure underneath that cap it was wet anyway. So Ray is thoroughly enjoying the view as he's helping them, and Karen hurries us and pulls him back, like, you don't need to keep helping them. We got it. We see Ashley, Giselle, and their dates heading to the Love Lagoon. Giselle did not inform him about what he was walking into, so they let him know real quickly. Ashley lets us know that she's been hanging out with Josh a lot. It's been 2 weeks, so I don't know what she considers a lot, but they do seem very comfortable with each other. It looks a lot more comfortable than it did during their date. Like, that kiss was a little awkward to me, but this time it looked like they've been more familiar with each other. She does say that she's protective of him. The various people arrive, even Jazzy, who brings a bottle of wine from her family's vineyard. I said, okay, Jazzy's trying to show us that she has more than his money. She has her own too. I'm not mad at it. We see the Grand Dame Teenies with the smoking stuff coming on. They're my favorite color, blue, so that was okay with me. Eddie arrives and he lets Stacy know that he's heard what she's been asking for, and he does have some Happy Eddie edibles for her. Karen then meets the guys. She says that she likes both of them, but she knows that Giselle's man is not going to last because Giselle likes him a little rough around the edges. We see Mia, not Mia. Was it Mia or was it Wendy? I think it was Wendy, called Josh Jack Harlow, saying that, he's a lateral move. Ashley ends up showing Stacy her vagina when they talk about getting in the pool. Ashley loves showing that thing. I don't know. And they all sit down. Mia points out that this is her first time seeing Giselle with the man. Mia, everybody isn't like you. Everybody is not jumping from man to man and bringing them on television. And I hate that I'm saying this because I'm sitting here and I'm defending Giselle. What in the world that has happened this season that I find myself often agreeing or defending Giselle? I don't like it. I don't like it. Giselle, I haven't forgotten who you are, sis. But that's what's happening. So the questions begin and the subject of cheating comes up. Do you feel like your partner has cheated? Without hesitation, Karen says no, Ray hasn't cheated. Ray says no, Karen hasn't cheated. And nobody believes it. Like, they all feel like Karen's cheated on Ray. Production even shades her even more by doing some flashbacks of Robin talking about the blue-eyed man. Stacy then throws Giselle and Karen under the bus, and she says, despite what they said the other day at lunch about, how when you're in LA, TJ, and that you do your own thing, I do not feel like you're cheating. And Giselle said, like, I thought that, this was about couples and y'all aren't a couple, so it really doesn't apply. And TJ's like, I will say I have to agree. TJ, Stacy, aren't you the same person who told your aunt how he protects you? Okay. So he has to agree. So then Stacy's like, well, are you sleeping with anyone? And he says, I'm only sleeping, with the Bugs Bunny in my bed. Everybody's like, interesting answer. And you saying that isn't really that good of a look. She says, when we went to lunch, TJ, this is Giselle talking, I did say that, Stacy just getting out of divorce should meet a bunch of penises. And Kara's like, well, maybe not a bunch, maybe just more than one. She says it has nothing to do with you. It's more so about her journey. TJ's like, you know what? I get it. And I think that it is you all looking out for her. And that's what good friends would do. I'm not accustomed to guys who are interested in women being glad that another woman suggested that she find other men, but maybe TJ's different, Y'all tell me what you think. So Jazzy feels like her man has cheated, and people act so shocked. Given the situation with the babies and that time frame and how young they are, it's obvious that the man has cheated. But he feels like he hasn't cheated because, it was on breaks or something prior doesn't count. That's the official sign that he's a cheater, girl. If you didn't know before, you know now. Jazzy tells us, like, look, he's not slick. I've never caught him, but I'm not an idiot. Meaning she knows that he's cheated on her. Ashley and Giselle skip it because they've only known their guys for 2 weeks. Eddie and Wendy look at each other, and the way that they said it, I believe them. They both said, it hasn't happened, no. Kierna says no. Greg says no because I have her being followed. I did laugh at that. Mia says, I'm not going to speak on, Gordon. No, she goes, I'm going to speak on Gordon, and the answer is no. And Giselle's like, Mia, stop. And they do a flashback of her talking about a threesome. And she's like, if I gave Gordon permission, for him to do anything with somebody else, that's not cheating. And they're like, well, did you cheat? And she's like, yeah. And Stacey's over here acting like she's surprised. Stacey, did you not watch last season? We saw last season where she admitted that she cheated on the man. Kierna reads the question, are you dominant or submissive in the bedroom? And she's like, TJ, this would be great for you because it's going to give you some insight. And he's like, I'm not a virgin. I've done it before. It's not that deep. But they put so much into this man not having sex with her that I feel like sometimes he's a little defensive, because it could have been insightful, because it's a topic that I'm sure you guys haven't spoken about. So she's like, okay, well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm submissive. Greg says he's dominant. Wendy says she's submissive, and kind of like a schoolgirl, she does get shy. Eddie is more dominant. Wendy says very dominant. And this is where he says that he feels like there are moments when Wendy tries to be, and the girls are like, as she should. And he's like, but, if I pull you to the edge of the bed, then you need to come to the edge of the bed. And she's like, there's times where at first I was like, wait a second. But she explained it. She's like, there's times where I want to be in the middle of the bed. He wants to be at the edge of the bed. And, I just do it. She likes it. Wendy likes that Eddie takes charge in that way. And I'm not mad at it. Let them married people do what those married people do. Mia doesn't even have to answer the question. Everybody says she's the more dominant one. She says, with Gordon, I was, but with Ink likes to choke me. So I'm going to say he's more dominant. Okay, whatever. Giselle said, that's the only way he can hold on to her is by choking her. Karen thinks that he uses a bunch of boxes to get up there and choke her. Nas said he's dominant. And Giselle's like, well, what if I'm dominant? He's like, well, then we just going to have to joust then. And Eddie's like, he is half Nigerian. So yeah. And they're like, half Nigerian. Y'all already know what they say about all of that. Don't act like you don't get it. Ashley says when it comes to the women, she's dominant. When it comes to the men, she's submissive. And Wendy brings up them being drunk in Mexico and how, Ashley looked at her and was like, you gonna show me something tonight? And they ended up showing each other something. So I guess it worked for Ashley. Josh says he's dominant and he's not gonna say any more about it. I like a man that doesn't feel the need to speak on all of that. Good job, Josh. Jazzy's man says he's dominant. Stacey feels like she's more dominant. And TJ says, just because we're not sleeping together doesn't mean that you're going to be dominant. You won't be more dominant. I didn't even believe him when he said it. Ray says that Karen is more dominant. Or did he say she used to be? The way he said it, it kind of made me feel like, okay, are y'all still getting it in or not? But he's like, she was more dominant. She used to tear him up. And he was like, I had to wife her because of all that. That's when Giselle's like, Karen told us a while ago that she retired her mouth. Ray, would you like for her to come out of retirement? And he says, yes, absolutely. And everybody's laughing. Josh does know. Josh seems like, here's the thing about Josh. I like Josh's energy more at this situation than I did at the game thing when they were one-on-one. I think he was more nervous. I think he's more comfortable here, and I can see his confidence in this setting, and I like it. It speaks volumes, especially because out of the group, I believe he is the youngest. The vibes are good. Everything is going great. We hear laughter, and that's when a dog is in the yard that nobody knows. And then here comes Jacqueline with a bunch of balloons. Mia, you can't tell me that you didn't know she was coming. Karen's like, Jacqueline, no ma'am, no ma'am. And that's how it ends. To be continued. That is all. This episode wasn't so bad. I talked junk like it was going to be awful, but it's doable. You all let me know what you thought about this episode. I am on the road to 2,000. Do me a favor, like the video, share the video, help me get in this algorithm so that I can just spread like a wildfire. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Until next time.